Welcome to day 3 of the Economy Creators Workshop. So, this one is fun. It's about leading other people. And
I love that.
yeah, the idea behind it is that you can't fully lead other people unless, of course, you lead yourself and you have something to lead with, like an economy, right? So, we want internal stability. We want to be able to know that the energy that we're putting out is worthy of other people receiving it. We want some external structure, like an economy swirling and whirling around us. I love that idea. It's just having a U-shaped economy. So you are in the center of it and you have little spokes going out and this thing's doing this and bringing in this source of income. This thing is a horse and it's balancing me out. And this thing over here is something that I'm really focused on and working on building right now, so we have little pieces going out. And if you're new to creating your economy, you're not going to have a ton of stuff that brings in money right away, but you have something that you can focus on, right? Um, and then of course we have, if we're leading others, we have to be able to relate to other people in a way that people want to relate to us. So those things are very important. Um, and if you can't lead yourself, you can't sustainably lead other people. And this is evident in people when they burn out a lot of times. Some people just take on the problems of other people and then they can't sufficiently lead themselves and stay above the fray, as it were. And they tend to take on too much emotional baggage as they go. And Pat, I would imagine that you could be susceptible to that in the type of work that you do if you weren't grounded in your leading yourself. Do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be very easy to be, because feeling sorry for them doesn't help them grow. You
Yes.
can have empathy, but pity, it doesn't help anybody.
Hmm. Yeah, and pity brings your energy down to their level.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But knowing where they're coming from and knowing that this too shall pass, as it were, and you're just there to help them bridge that gap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it from sad to glad.
Oh, yeah. That's a good tagline. I like it. So, yesterday we talked about leading our economies. So, who wants to put a number for what your average was yesterday in the chat? Um, the we had 6 questions and we all went through each one of them, and hopefully Ryan has 3.8. Yep. Okay. Good, good. And these numbers just indicate to you, Larry, one, okay, good, just where you are. Objectively speaking, when you answer these questions truthfully for yourself, you understand exactly where you're at. So when we're going through this, if you are under a 3, you need more structure, right? And if you're between a 3 and a 4, you need something to codify your authority. So put that into writing, put that into well, I think an ebook. Everybody should write an ebook about their business so they can share it with the world or your authority or in that type of thing, because that really not only shows that other people that you know what you're talking about, but it also shows yourself that you are an authority in what you're doing. If you have a 4 to 5, scalable ecosystem is forming, which means you're ready for step 3. So, we're going to talk about step 3 today, which is leading others. And without that structure, it's hard to do. Okay. So, let me grab and make this bigger for us. Okay. So, in step 3, we want to see if we're ready to lead other people as we go through this. So, we're going to rate ourselves on a scale of 1 to 5 here. 1 is that you have unclear standards or that you have an inconsistent structure. Okay. A three would be some standards, you got something in place, but it's inconsistent. You have it and then you back off and if your interactions with other people, you go, 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 and then you stop doing stuff for a while, that type of thing. And then five is strong, steady leadership presence. Okay. So let's go through these. One is I maintain clear leadership standards with clients. So this could be in how you communicate in emails. This could be how you communicate in posts. This is how you communicate in direct messaging to them back and forth, phone calls. If you're on a Zoom call with them, how do you communicate with them? How are your standards with them? Do you allow them to I know I was on the mastery call just right before this call, and I go when people start going down the rabbit hole of negative any way, shape, or form, right? So I'm like tap. So that's kind of one of the standards that I have, right? And everybody knows it now, so they're all smiling. See. So score yourself on that first one.
You did that yesterday, Mary.
Oh,
I
and
remember you
see,
told
that's what I do.
it.
Yep, there you go. Well, and Bob told this to us as consultants. He said, you are going to be confronted with situations where you will sometimes wonder, are you crossing the line in any way? But at the same time, he said, it's not crossing the line. I think that's the wrong way to say it. But what he was getting at is that you're going to have to do some uncomfortable things and call people out on things if you're going to be an effective coach. And you cannot worry about how other people well, if you're going to lose friends, essentially is what Bob said. If your job is to coach them, right? And this happens to me with me for in a lot of ways of someone saying, let's say they give an excuse or something, and I ask them a question about that, and just say, you know what, is that what version 2.0 says, or is that your paradigm talking, and they're like, oh, either that or they get mad, but generally they're like, oh, Mary's trying to help me. So Bob has told us that as coaches, and oh, here we go. We are admitting a couple more people. And I just remember that. And I'm just like, no, it might be uncomfortable, but if I have to say it to be a good coach, then I'll say it to be a good coach, kind of thing. Right. Okay. So the second one, my pricing reflects the value and transformation I deliver. Yeah. Yes or no. Right. So there's a one, a three, or a five. So maybe you're like, my money paradigm is showing through, or no, I'm confident in this. This is good. Go ahead, John Hart. Did you have a question?
What if you're a three in reality and want to be a five?
Well, then put the three in
Okay.
because when you do this truthfully now, then you can go back to step one and create the self-image script around what five looks like.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, good question. Um, okay, the third one. I enforce boundaries calmly and consistently. So is this the rule for everybody all the time? And how do you communicate that, right? Um, I handle conflict without emotional reactivity. This one I learned in the gym because I can tell you that adolescent girls, a whole gym full of them, can be tricky to maneuver around. And I had to be the stable one. I had to be the one that didn't get emotionally charged in any type of situation. And I found that some of my coaches would feed off of that energy, and I had to be, again, the leader, the calm one in those types of situations. So I handle conflict without emotional reactivity. So if you get alerted during those types of times, make a note of it, give yourself the score, and just like what we talked about with John's question, if I want it to be a 5, then I'll go back and put it in my self-image script in step 1 and be like, this is how I need to be, right? Um, having handle conflict handling, excuse me, conflict without emotional reactivity also requires, it helps to have some sort of plan in place, a structure in place of how you resolve conflicts, right? That is probably first and foremost something that if you're leading other people, you need to be able to do that, especially if you have employees or a team. If you're leading a team of people, that is very important. It's different if you have employees than if you are on your own. Okay. Um, because because employees add another wrinkle to the whole mix. Besides, it's just a coach client type of relationship versus a um, coach employee client type of relationship, like in the gym, right? Or if you're, let's say you're a banker, and how do you handle conflict with somebody who comes to your window, right? So there are probably things in place as an employee, but if you are the leader, what things do you need to put in place? Does that make sense? Okay. The next one, my clients succeed because systems support them. So is everything based on just willy-nilly? Oh, this looks good right now. Or is there some sort of system in place? For instance, my mastery members follow thinking into results, and we have um, 2 mastery calls dedicated each week, and we show up at the same time every week, and it's very systematic. They have a check-in every Monday. And we also have now morning calls at 6 a.m., the 6 a.m. club where we study. We don't get on camera, don't worry. But we just sit there and study, and those spaces are open for them. So there are systems to support them, right? So are they succeeding because they have systems, or are they succeeding just willy-nilly? Sometimes, no, others are you just running ragged trying to help this one and then help that one rather than sticking them in a system, which would bolster their support, right? And then I build independent leaders, not dependency. So this one came from when I was coaching gymnastics. And in gymnastics, it's scary. Skills are scary. And we're always dealing with fear and we're dealing with belief in oneself. And my philosophy as a gymnastics coach was to help the kids to get to the point where they did not need me. That was the idea. And so that is how I coach to now. I want people to be able to own their own minds to a point where they have the ability to solve their problems and to move to the next level and the next step. That doesn't discount the idea of a mastermind, of course, because that is definitely helpful and necessary if you're going to be a true leader. But the idea behind independent leaders, getting people to think for themselves and believe in themselves and trust themselves, is what a good leader does, not form dependency on them. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about those? Clarity? Just shout it out because I can't
Well,
see
one
you.
thing stood out to me the most, and it's of course an area that I used to be really strong in because I used to work in HR, in human resources. Well, I still am strong in it, but in the context of what I'm doing now, it doesn't work so well. And I think it's the one where enforcing boundaries calmly and consistently.
Okay.
I have a tendency to over-explain. Or um over accommodate or delay difficult decisions. At
Mm-hmm.
least those are things that just like popped up. But when I was, my background, my skill set was like that whole 15 years, 20 years now, total of 20 years of just always being accommodating. And we had to enforce policy and this and that, but you know everybody knows, well, not everybody, at least everybody in HR knows that they're just the guidelines. And so I was the guy that everybody came to because they knew that I could push the envelope in their
Mm-hmm.
favor. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. So what I'm saying here, in the entrepreneurial role, it requires a stronger mindset or a stronger enforcement, and
Well,
being consistent in that. Am I going in the wrong direction with the whole interpretation of that?
no, I think what's easier about being an employee or being in that realm that you were in before is that somebody else made those decisions for you and you were executing upon those decisions. When you're in an entrepreneurial role, you decide what the boundary is. You decide where the gray line starts and it flips over to the other side. You decide how far anybody's allowed to go or how far you're allowed to go, right? And it comes down to self-governance. It comes down to step one, doesn't it? It comes down to Bob telling us, give yourself a command and follow it. It's self-discipline. So deciding how you show up in step one as your self-image script and how you handle certain situations, how you portray yourself and act in any situation will help you create that boundary. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, it does, because I mean, I want to be the best I can be in that role, and I understand that I'm kind. I know that. And I'm super service driven. And sometimes I say yes, sometimes too much. And so when I should be a little bit more in being more strategic about that and enforcing um, where I give my time and my interest, because then I end up overcommitting myself, and somebody gets the short end of the stick, and yeah, at any rate,
Yeah.
that this is
Well,
really good stuff.
and something like that could be around, let's say you schedule Zoom meetings and um you have a calendar for people to schedule a meeting with you, and you always go over the time allotted. That would be a boundary that you could start setting for yourself and for the people and training the people to follow, right? Something like that. That's just one of the boundaries that you could think about. Like that just came to my mind about just as an example. But
Yeah, now that I have ProZoom, that happens a lot.
yeah, right. Before, like I said,
I only had 40 minutes before, but now
right.
we could go on to
When
90
it's
minutes, and it's like, oh, wait, we gotta go. We gotta
Well, here's
wrap
the
this up.
thing that I found, especially in entrepreneurship, and this is something that we have to take ownership of, is because when it's somebody else's rule, it's easy to go, oh, but Mary said no, I can't do that, right? It's easier to have somebody else be the scapegoat. Policy says this is how it goes, so I have to file this paperwork. I'm sorry, right? But Zoom only it cuts me off at 40 minutes. So sorry, we have only 40 minutes. So as an entrepreneur, you have to be willing, and a leader, you have to be willing and able to set those boundaries on your own. And that's another echelon of self-control. It's another echelon of self-governance. It's another echelon of who you are as a leader. And it's accepting that responsibility, right? And that's one of the biggest steps that people need to go up is is making that that transfer of the onus is on me now and be willing to accept that no, this is my job. This is this is the rule and this is the rule for everybody. Um, I had somebody ask me a question a while ago about um, a refund or something like that, um, and I said no, because sometimes I would be like, oh, maybe, I don't know, but what I said is I was like, I can't do this. I just can't do it after it was like the time that the of the program was over, and then they just didn't use it, and but they had signed up and started using it, but they didn't finish it. And so I said, no, I can't do that. As a small business owner, I trust you understand that as a small business owner, I must adhere to my policies, is what I said. And it actually felt really good, because that was the first time that I had done that. And I did that at the gym like that, and they didn't use it. They didn't use their membership, but I delivered everything that I was contractually supposed to deliver. I can't make you can't make a horse drink. You can only lead them to the water, right? So they had to understand that, and I had to be that messenger, and I had to set that standard, right? John Hart, did you have a question?
No, I think that's great. I mean, I said no. We have to say no at times. um, if we say yes all the time, then we're going to make our own life miserable. We're going to lose money. We need to treat this, and when I say this, I mean Magnet 30 is your business, and then I'm going to try to create a business, and we got to treat it like college. You pay for it. If you drop out, you still got to pay for
Yep.
it, and it makes you, because there's people that we pay for education through our city taxes and stuff like that. It's just we're spoiled with that. But when we get out of our high school and go into college, it doesn't work that way, and somebody has to pay for it. And if you have to pay for it, if you're the individual that has to pay for it, not your parents, or if you have to pay for it, you'll work hard to get through it. And if you drop out, which it's been a lot of people doing that, you still got to pay for it,
Yeah.
and it's not involved in a bankruptcy for a reason.
Hmm.
But Mary, I think we all need to learn to say no.
Well,
I
and
mean,
and it feels better to have those standards in place, and
yeah,
and you don't use them every day until it comes up, but when you have it in your back pocket, you can go, oh, there's an app for that. There's a standard for that, right? And I can tell you at the gym, for instance, there was somebody who was very upset about it, and we parted ways. It's just you are entitled to be upset about it, but this is what our policy is, right?
yeah, there
And
has to be policy.
there has to be a policy, and that's just it's leadership. It might be uncomfortable to deliver that message sometimes, but if we're going to be effective economy creators, we have to do it. If you go to the grocery store, you can't be like, you know what, I didn't eat all my oranges before they went bad. So, it was 4 weeks ago. Can I get a refund? No. And they expect you to pay right then and there when you take the groceries. They don't say, we're gonna wait. You can pay us next time you come in, Mary. They never say that. Does your grocery store say that? Mine doesn't. So we have to understand, and this goes up to the maintaining the standards that we have with our clients, the pricing that we have. It's getting comfortable with the authority that we now possess as leaders of our economy and being okay with it. We have to insert that into our self-image script. We have to assume that role. It's important. Yeah. Go ahead, Pat.
I was just going to say we need to be prepared for it. May we never have to use it,
Hmm.
but to be prepared for it so that we're not in shock. And
Right.
that doesn't look like a very good leader.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we have a standard, you have to understand I have a policy, this is what it is. And, you know, and I used to think, well, since I'm the business owner, I can kind of wiggle waggle if I need to, but that didn't make anybody happier for one, and it also didn't make me feel good.
And it sets you up for them. If you give them help them one time, they may expect that every time.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, and there were people who I mean, the gym was full of lots of people, and so there were people who kind of tried to get away with not paying for a while, and that made it worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's why I say, hey, I'm an open door, come and talk to me, right? And that's all we asked of our people, and some people did and some people did not. So there you go, right? All right. Anybody else have any questions about these comments? It's as a leader, you have to be willing and able to set these standards for yourself. Okay, so reflection questions. How do I respond under pressure? Are you cool as a cucumber or do you let it get to you? I remember one time I worked in the Secretary of State's office, and I was actually her executive secretary, and we were doing something where I had to hand deliver something to the governor, and it was not a nice note, and it was a big hullabaloo in the office, and so I was getting ready to do it, and it was just a letter. I was just walking up the stairs, right, and hand delivering it to the governor. And so my counterpart goes, "How are you so calm?" And I go, "One, it's just a letter." I go, "It's just ink on a piece of paper, and everybody else is making a big deal out of it, right? I didn't write the letter." And then the other thing is, when we compete beam in front of thousands of people in a leotard, you kind of just don't care anymore about pressure. So the point is, use something from your past where you withstood the pressure and you could handle it, and really get into that character in that moment and use that to your advantage when the pressure mounts. Okay. So how do I respond to under pressure? How do I want to respond under pressure? Okay. And then do I lead emotionally or structurally? Now, it could be both in a way, depending on the work that you do. But even Pat was just saying, and she has a very emotional coaching business because people grieving is emotional. And so she must have structure to help through that emotional roller coaster that people go through, right? I would imagine going from sad to glad requires certain steps that people need to take, and you take them through those steps, right, Pat? Yeah. Yeah. So even if it is an emotionally charged type of business, we still need to have that structure. Okay. And we as leaders need to defer on the side of structure in that sense. We have to be the rock for the emotional people. And coaching kids, coaching adolescent girls, very emotional. I'm telling you, it was. And I had to be the structure, right? This is your workout. This is the plan. Sometimes we have to deviate from it because our body isn't working the way that we want it to. And that's when you come to me and we talk about it, right? And so we have plans in place, but there is an underlying structure there. Okay. And the third question is, where are my boundaries inconsistent? Right? So maybe I let some people pay and I let some people not pay. Maybe I do this, maybe I do that. Maybe I whatever. I don't know what it is, but just take a look at your boundaries. Maybe some people have a longer Zoom call than other people have a Zoom call. Maybe whatever it might be. Okay? So when we total up our scores, if you are under 3 in the leadership realm in step 3, reinforcement is required before you can really expand. Okay, so we need to reinforce either your personal development part, the leading yourself, or the economy, or both. And generally it's both, and if there is um, in this leading others, there's so much to be said for the energy that you come from before you give it to other people, right? So generally, leading yourself has to happen before leading others can really thrive. If it's a 3 to a 4, leadership strengthening phase, so continue to have a personal development um, course or something that you're following. For instance, I teach thinking into results, but I also am taught thinking into results. I have my coaches at Proctor Gallagher, but I also have my accountability partner, and she and I coach each other through it. So I believe in this material, and so I live this material, but I don't teach myself the material. Others teach me the material, right? Does that make sense? So really understand that you as a leader you need to be continuously improving your skills and your skill set, your mindset, your foundation, so that you can be an even better leader for your followers. Okay. And that goes whether you are a leader of employees, a leader of clients, a leader of gymnasts, whatever it might be. Okay. And then a 4 to a 5, you've got sustainable leadership readiness. So make sure that you just stay up with masterminding, doing things like that, that really keep you in a community, keep you around other people who are at your level or higher, helping you continue that leadership mode. Okay. And then after day 3, today's the last day. So you take your average from each day and you look and see which one's my strongest. Where are my strengths, right? And then you see where you're unstable. Okay. So the thing that you do is you really understand that this strongest domain, well, actually here, let's see where's your strongest domain? Do you just write it in the chat? What's your strongest domain? Because I just don't know who's got the strongest domain. So let's see for yourself. You're not competing. Don't worry. Leadership intent. So is that step 1, 2, or 3? What's your strongest domain? So from day 1, what was your day 1 score, your day 2 score, and your day 3 score? And which one was so lead yourself, lead your economy, or lead others? You're muted, Ryan. Sorry, I wasn't looking at you and I didn't
No,
know.
I know.
I don't know how
I'm
long you were
thinking to
talking.
myself, I'm glad I wasn't speaking because my my so so my strongest domain, I guess, out of those three the 3 days, I guess would be the first day. The second day was a little bit less strong, and then the third day was the weakest.
Okay, perfect.
Most unstable is my economic structure.
So day 2 or day 3?
Okay, I
Day 2
guess
is you're
I'm
leading
feeling
your
it.
economy. Day 3 is leading others, right? So day
I'm
1,
feeling
let me write it down. Day 1 equals lead yourself. Day 2 equals lead economy. And day 3, lead others. I spelled that wrong, but that's what it is. 3 is the strongest, leading others. Okay, Pat. Yeah. You know,
so okay, so
okay. Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'll have to look at it a little bit more objectively because I think
Well, just your numbers. Just
internal governance was um and leadership, leading others, I'd say that we're stronger than leading my own economy.
Right, but that's why you have numbers. So you can look back and see what your numbers are, and then you
Yeah,
can
and kind of doing a quick pencil
Mhm.
work. It's like
Yeah.
whipping out this.
That's
I'm just
okay.
kind of pencil whipping it
That's okay. Yeah.
in this session.
All right. So who else besides Pat and Ryan want to say anything? What's your most stable and your most unstable? You can say it out loud if you want, or you can put it in the chat.
I'm
John.
up there with Pat.
And both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm doing this right, now
Well,
self-doubt there. Sorry. Um,
so one is unstable. Just kidding. Just joking. No, so all you have to do is just put your number in and then what your average is from that day, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I'm
yeah.
just just as far as I kept kind of like yesterday. I feel like I need to lead myself better, but I feel like I can lead people better than I can lead myself. So I'm kind of like I don't know where that goes as far as my numbers, but as far as my way of thinking, I need to lead myself before I can lead others. Is that am I thinking that right?
In a sustainable way, yes.
Okay.
Because what happens is that we get to a certain point leading others, and then we can fizzle out because we're not continuously moving forward with our control of our own minds, with our self-image script, with our discipline, and all of those things. And so, what we run into is that we're telling other people to do all these things that we're not doing ourselves. It's easy to get into that. It really is. And because we all know, no, seriously, we all know what to do. Pat, people probably know how to get through grief. People probably know how to do stuff, but they don't do it, right? And so they need somebody to help them, right?
Sometimes all they need is a guide.
Yeah,
They have
yeah,
the answers.
right.
It's up to
And
you to ask the right questions.
mm-hmm. And so, if you are continually improving yourself, you can be better and better and better at leading them versus just getting them to a certain point. If you want to move them from grief counseling into life coaching, then yeah, then that would be where you're like, okay, well, this is what I do too. This is how I live my life. This is how, you be the example. And John, that's what I'm talking about when you're leading other people, is that you can lead as the example,
Okay.
right?
Like a
Um,
parent.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And there is a reason why most kids follow in their parents' footsteps, is because their parents led them as they knew. And they were led how they were were taught, and they were taught the certain way. And so that's how they lead.
Generational.
Yep, yep, exactly. Does anyone else want to share what you came up with for your scores? No? John Corpus, huh? Huh? What's your strongest place?
Um, Let me see. I'm kind of like what if you what like what John said earlier, because I feel like sometimes I can lead others better than I lead myself because I'm like the motivator type, I like always, hey, you can do this and that kind of stuff. Like so, like I love doing cheering on and leading others, inspiring and being inspired with to others, and then like you said, I'm most likely I'm gonna fizzle out like you said. So now I have to like really lead myself first before I can lead others. So,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of like, I know what John is saying. I'm kind of like that. Yeah.
Well, Wallace D. Wattles in The Science of Getting Rich, he
Mm-hmm.
says that, and this is where Bob says said to all of us as consultants, because we all wanted
Mm-hmm.
to lead everybody because this was the best material in the world, right?
Yeah.
And Bob said, fix your life first. Fix
Yeah.
your own life first. And that doesn't mean
Mm.
anybody's life was crap. It just means that we had to be the product of the product. We had to be our best testimonial because we had
Mhm.
to know and believe that it works.
Mhm.
Right. And that's why I share with you all these horses. And that's why I talk about all the stuff that I talk about is because I do the stuff. And so I share with you what my goals are, and I share with you what
Mm.
the plan is. So what he says in The Science of Getting Rich is that hmm, anyway, what he does say is that the best way that you can teach other people to get rich is to get rich yourself. And that's
Mm.
essentially what Bob said. Fix your
Lead.
life first, right? Whether it's monetary, whether it's spiritually, whether it's educationally, whether it's whatever it is that you teach, gymnastically, and as an author, whatever it is, you be the leader of you first.
Mm. Okay.
People appreciate a leader who actually is in the trenches with them, right? I think of Luke Skywalker, not Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars. He was the general that was leading the fight, and they all appreciated that. And um, that's who wouldn't. Go do my bidding. Go do my bidding. No, nobody wants that, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So people are going to want to see that one, the stuff works, and two, that you are leading by your example. So, leading others also includes outreach. What's your outreach like, right? And that's part of leading your economy, but on a scalable level. The community that you surround yourself with, the masterminding that you've got going on. I mastermind with Allison. I mastermind with another person, and I mastermind with three people always, plus Mark, my husband. We mastermind together too. And so, oh, no, there's another group. There's four people, four ladies in that group besides me. So I mastermind with about 10 people every single month
Hmm.
on a consistent basis. And that is something that I didn't always do until Bob. And so if you are in, if leading others is your weakness, then, or is not your weakness. If leading others is strong for you and you need to continue to up your game and up your game and up your game because you don't want to just stay stagnant, then start masterminding with people. But that's after you develop those intellectual faculties. That's after you develop the understanding of the law and apply it every day. So the question is, where do you go now, Mary? So what we do is if you are in under 3 in step 1, right? So if you're leading yourself is a lower number, then what we really need to focus on is your internal governance. And one of the things I'm super excited to have this as an option now is called the applied mastery. And so what this is not only is it the lesson 1 of thinking into results, where you get crystal clear on your goal, you start examining the beliefs that are driving you and holding you back and helping you forward. It's also something that helps you make decisions quicker and more stable decisions. And it helps you, we develop a short-term self-image script and a bulletproof attitude so that you can really begin showing up like the person that you want to become. And It gets you involved in the mastery circle that we have. It gets you involved in daily study habits. We have 7 days of the 6 a.m. club where people can come in and just study. We don't talk to each other. We just do our studies. We just do our work. And now, because it is important to me that people going through this applied mastery actually create an authority asset like an ebook. By the end of these 60 days, if you spend 60 days with me, I'll help you write your ebook. I'll help you write that authority asset to help you, one, step into the image that you are portraying, that you're becoming, that version of you in your self-image script. And then by the end of those 60 days, you will feel more like that version of you. So you'll apply what you're learning from Bob and me and the group to that goal of writing your authority asset, your ebook. So that is the really great level one or step one that I have for you, and it's so good, so good. I think it's so exciting to have that ability to do that. And then you know what? If you just don't know what to do next, book a call with me and we'll go over that and we'll go over your scores and we'll go over what you do in your economy and we'll set and I'll match you to your next step, what makes sense. Because if you have if you have a very strong leading yourself and you need help with the structure, then we can do a strategy call on creating that blueprint for your economy. And we can figure out different ways to help that going, right? So the mastery students have done that, create your own economy blueprint. And John's like, mm-hmm. And I think it's a pretty powerful thing. Medora currently, oh, Medora, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm still driving, but I just dropped off someone. So now I can talk. You're talking about the applied mastery, and you were asking earlier, like, what was our dominant one? And, I made jokes, like, I failed, because I feel like I need help in all of them. I don't, and you had just said that the applied mastery, which I did sign up for, and I'm looking very forward to it. I think, yeah, so I'm looking forward to, like, the whole ebook part, just figuring that all out. And then, because people on this call like, I don't have a business yet, and that's, like, why I'm here, because I want to start a business. I know some people have businesses already, and you're kind of saying, like, this is how you should, first you start with yourself and then helping others and your economy, and then how you work with others. So I'm just learning all of it, and I know there are people on the call, but anyway, and I'm starting out with that, the applied mastery, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yay, good. I'm so happy that you are too, Medora. I think it's going to be so good and have that ebook under your belt and just big fat do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you said clear earlier. What did you say? I love some of your things. You said bulletproof attitude. I like that too. I like the,
yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I need. I need that.
Good.
You need that bulletproof attitude.
We all do. We all need it, right? And it's like what Pat was saying about being prepared with our policies, even if we might not need them. Our bulletproof attitude is the thing that we need to be armed with, even on the days that we don't quite need it. But for the days that we do need it, we have it, right? It's going to be good. Oh, thanks, Medora. Thank you. Go ahead, Pat.
I was going to say too, when you're saying about be the person, when I went through beauty school, and they said half it's your ability to do the work, but the other part you had to look the part.
Yeah.
And I carry that forward in my sewing, but I also carry it forward in my work. And I have some people say, well, you're so dressed up for it. Well, this is the way I work.
Yeah.
I think to be authoritative, you have to look the part. You don't just know it, you have to look the part too.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have enough pride in yourself, you will do that.
Well, and you have to dress the part that feels like the part you want to be, right? And so when I sit down at my desk, I actually get dressed and I put shoes on. And Lola's like, "Mom, you're wearing shoes. Why are you wearing shoes? No one can see your feet." And I'm like, "Well, I like my shoes and I was going to show you my boots, but I do. I just I was going to stick my leg up." But it's the whole thing. It's not for other people. I'm at home, really, nobody can see my feet, to Lola's point, but I see my feet.
I
And
think it builds your
I
confidence though, and that comes across
Mhm.
your
Yeah,
self-confidence.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
there then you're leading yourself because you're leading it in the right process.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I used to back when the cold calling was, and people still do it, but back when it first started, this guy got dressed up in a three-piece suit and to go to work, and he just shut himself in an office and just started cold calling. No one saw him, but he felt confident by wearing a three-piece suit and making the phone calls. So that not just like yeah, Pat, when you brought that up, that's what that
Yeah.
triggered that memory.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, I thought I'd add that.
I keep a jacket right there.
Yeah,
I
there you
do.
go.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't, I don't, I don't. I don't know why I'm bringing this up.
You
I
don't own
don't,
a suit?
I don't dress like a school bus driver. I dress like a realtor because I am a realtor
Yeah.
on a school bus. And I'm being made fun of by other bus drivers. It's like, why are you dressed like that? And I don't have a three-piece suit or anything like that, but I dress to the point to where I created my own style. And it's just so funny people's response to that when you're on the outside world of your, I don't want to say outside world, but when you're doing two jobs and you work in one job that, well, I gotta dress like a realtor and then I gotta drive a school bus, so I can't change clothes in between. Yeah, but I think it's funny people's response to that. And how's your response or to that too as well? And I just kind of laugh it off. I'm like, yeah, this is me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know why I brought
Do
that up,
you?
but
Do you?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's what makes you stand out though. Sometimes, in your field, what makes you stand out above somebody else? And sometimes
yeah,
it's a matter of what you're wearing. And when you're wearing the right things, it makes you feel good, and that comes across.
yeah. I mean, it's all confidence. I mean, you can be confident in just a regular T-shirt, but sometimes the clothes helps, especially if you're uncomfortable in a situation where you're doing a situation where something's different and you're uncomfortable. I think you need to dress for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Pat, you're right. You're right on.
Let me ask you something too, John. Like, okay, you can wear your realtor stuff when you're driving the bus, but if you were dressed in the bus driver stuff, could you do the realtor's work?
No, no, no.
Wear
No,
what
no.
you're confident in. It'll
Yeah,
fit either one.
Yep.
like the I don't know why I just recently started. My dermatologist told me, he said, you need to wear a hat. And Mary, you and I talked about this, and
Dapper.
Eat out of the top of your head.
yeah, so I thought I'm not a ball cap type person. I'll wear them like if I go in the gym or something, but I started wearing a fedora, and that really got people fired up.
Ooh,
And
pal.
look
This is
at that!
this is my CEO hat.
Oh, it's cute. Do you know Lynn Lionhood?
Who?
Lynn Lionhood?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'll introduce.
Okay. I have several of those. I have a mannequin in my front window, and I borrow from her once in a while.
That's cool.
Anyway, be yourself, guys.
Yes. Did you hear Alyssa Liu, the gold medal winner ice skater? She has striped hair.
Ah,
And she goes, "You guys, do whatever you want with your hair."
I've had every color.
You did?
I've had all of them. Yeah.
You've had all the colors.
When you go to beauty school and
Oh, I suppose, huh?
yeah, and the first time I bleached my hair and the first time I came home, I remember this is a small farming community. And I asked my dad, I said, what do you think of my hair? He didn't say nothing. I said, what do you think of my hair? He said, I think it looks like hell. I never asked his opinion again.
No, he
Nope, I
doesn't
just
need to
did what I
tell
wanted.
you anymore. No,
Yeah.
I really do think you're right. I just recently had a stylist help me put my closet together. And one, it's simple to get dressed in the morning, and now I feel good all the time. And I
Yeah.
don't have to second guess anything. And it's just she knew exactly who I wanted. She saw my vision, like I see my vision, and boom, executed. Just like my logo. Allie and her husband saw my vision and put the Magnet Mind logo together. Horses involved. So it's important. And that's all a part of leading yourself. And so I think from what we've all kind of seen is that leading yourself is step one, but it's also a thread through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because your economy is going to reflect your self-image. It's going to reflect your desires. It's going to reflect who you believe you are and the boundaries that you set for yourself. And leading others is going to be a reflection of how you lead yourself. It's going to, when we get nervous sometimes when we're leading other people, we have to draw on that confidence that we've got going on. And if we have nothing to draw on, we kind of putter out.
It reminds me of when I was teaching garment construction for Joann's Fabrics. And this one young gal, she said, do you mind if my friend comes in? And I said, if she doesn't disrupt the class. Well, it wasn't very long and they started talking. I said, out. You're not going to interrupt my class. You can come back when the class is over. Now, the other ones started really paying attention, but the friend come back before the class was over. And I said, no, out. She came back.
Those are standards.
Yeah. Wherever you go, there's going to be some kind of standards there, but no is a complete sentence.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. We have to be willing to do it. All right, everyone. I hope you book an audit with me just to talk about where you are and what I can do to help you move to the next step. I really think that if you don't have an authority asset, we need to get you one. So can think about the applied mastery and how it can work for you. If you're already in mastery, John and Ryan, I think that in LA and Medora is doing applied mastery. I think that getting yourself into that authority asset quickly if you don't have one is important, right? Medora, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think I saw earlier, happy birthday, LA.
Yeah. Yep. He's not sitting there right now, but yeah, happy birthday, LA. There he is. He's there. Oh, he heard you. He's coming on.
Well, that's all I had to say, but thanks, Mary, for tonight.
Thank you, Medora.
Thank you. I had to, my niece is calling me and I had to step away for a minute.
Well, happy birthday. Thank you for.
Hope you had a great day.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Mary. This was great.
Thank you. Yeah, good. Thank you. I'm so glad that you guys liked it. And let me know if you have questions, reach out to me, book an audit, and we'll talk. Okay? Sound good? John Hart, book an audit. Because you have to reschedule anyway. So let's go. You're muted. You're muted.
We'll knock it out on this one.
Okay, out of the park. There we go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And we will see you soon. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Happy birthday.